Hello, everyone. This is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today, our guest is Liam Anderson. Hello, Liam. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Liam, last week you defeated, I think that very solid opponent. It was a beautiful finish, first round finish, and right now you are 3-0 in LFA. So, if you can tell me what should be next for you.
Well, what's next is I want to be in the UFC. I want Mick to call me and sign me a contract. But talking to my manager, uh, you know, we're going to probably be the first ones they call when they need a replacement when somebody's injured. So whether it's an 85 or 205, and so that's what's next. But I guess in the meantime, we'll still be looking for a fight. We just don't know when and where. So when the opportunity arises, uh, and if I like it, I'll take it. And hopefully that will be in the summertime or the fall.
And for short notice fight, how many weeks do you need to be 185?
Well, it's for me to make the weight 185, probably like I like to start water loading the weight cut process about 3 weeks out. Like, I don't know if you've heard of water loading before. So you drink a gallon, a day, 3 weeks out. And then for me, 2 weeks out, I start drinking 2 gallons a day before 4 p.m. And then the final week, I stop drinking water, 2 gallons of water the day before weigh-ins. And then like this last camp, I had to cut about like I went from 192 to 187, so I lost 5 or 6 pounds uh, the day before the weigh-ins. So about 3 weeks,
And I
preferably.
and for light heavyweight, it shouldn't be a much problem, right? For like 1 or 2 weeks notice fight.
Yeah, 1 or 2 weeks is no problem. It's just it wouldn't be ideal, but nothing's ever ideal in fighting. So if it comes down to that, I can make the weight. I could probably make the weight on like it would suck, but on like 4 days notice if I had to. We'll make it work.
And probably the finish of your last fight really helped you because it was a like viral moment. There was a lot of noise about this, like the one of the best knockouts in the month. So I think that it can be a really helpful thing.
Definitely, I mean, it was so loud in there. Alan Juan, the commentator, couldn't hear me when I was talking to him literally 5 feet from my face. I was trying to tell him to, tell on air, say Mick Maynard or Lee Anderson wants Mick Maynard to sign him, but he couldn't. I had to say it like 10 times for him to hear me because people are so loud in there. So it was a good moment. And it's not the first time I've done that. I've done that multiple times before. Sorry, I'm like, I clear my throat. I've done that multiple times before in pride tournaments growing up, and also in my amateur days, I've had a left head kick knockout, doing it in practice all the time. It's just one of many ways I can finish a fight.
And with one of your previous fight, I think that it was against Jay Manning. He was like looking for the kick.
Yeah, I mean, Jay Manning is so this guy that I just fought, Maurice Morris is a dog. He is a dog. He's gonna bring it, which excited me, but he wasn't as technically skilled as Jay May, the last guy I fought. Jay May is more of a polished striker than Maurice Morris. And so the other thing is, I wasn't doing as good as a job in setting up the left high kick against Jay like I was with Maurice in my last fight. So, and in my last fight with Jay, I felt really stiff and backstage I didn't feel good, but I made some changes getting ready for this fight in terms of strength and conditioning and the way I do things. And it's a constant learning process. And I just felt so loose and so relaxed out there against Maurice. And I used setups and feints, and that's what led to the finish.
And actually, you are like specialist if we are talking about finishes, because I believe that all of your wins, either as the amateur or the pro, you finished your opponents.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was an 8-0 amateur. I had 8 finishes, never went to the third round. And then as a professional, I'm still got 100% finishing rate. That's just like me to be able to finish people, I've been, there's times where I'm losing and I still find a way to come back and finish my opponent. That's just like me to be able to find a way to make it happen. I mean, like even if I'm losing, I'm going to come back, make an adjustment, and I can do it, standing or on the ground. I mean, most of my finishes as a professional have been submissions, um, but again, they can't sleep on my striking because if they do, you saw what happened Friday. So I'm dangerous in all areas, and I'm looking to continue finishing in a variety of different ways.
And this is probably one of the like toughest opponent to face when you know that that either any second he can finish a fight. It's similar to like Marlon Vera, who sometimes is also a losing fights, but he can finish his opponents in any second by anything actually.
Yes, yes. It's just that gives me confidence knowing that at any time I can turn the tables and finish. So I've always got that confidence. Nothing ever deters me while I'm out there. I'm focusing on process, and if I'm still conscious and awake, I still have a chance of winning. So that's just my mentality going into a fight. And so with this guy, Maurice, uh, I knew, like I said, he was a dog and he had power, and he doesn't really seem like a guy that really thinks too hard about decisions. He just does it. Doesn't give a he just does it. So that makes him very dangerous. So like I said, I was excited to see like what's going to happen. He came out exactly how I expected him, coming out hot. But then eventually his foot came off the gas, especially when I started hitting him with some good kicks to the body, and I started to slow him down, and that's what led to the finish.
And it's actually another solid name in your like resume because you fought against like solid prospects on the local scene. So he's another one, another good name.
Definitely, definitely.
And what was the first combat sport that you ever trained?
So the first official combat sport I ever trained. I mean, I was always doing stuff in the backyard. You know what I mean? Watching Dragon Ball Z and like always wanted to do martial arts. We just could never afford it. But the first actual thing I started training was wrestling in about like seventh grade. So I was like 12 or 13 years old. But I didn't particularly like wrestling, in middle school and high school. But I always had a vision of what I wanted to do. I always knew I wanted to be a fighter, and so I never quit. And that's not like me. I never ever quit, and so I never quit wrestling, even when I didn't like it. But I knew I needed it to compete in MMA. And then outside of wrestling, the next thing I started competing in training was karate. So then I started gaining my kicks from karate. I started training that about 15 years old, and I went as hard as you possibly could with karate in terms of the training, and I carried those techniques I learned in karate into my professional career. So I attribute a lot of my kicks to my karate background.
And was the MMA like natural next step for you?
Yeah, I believe so. I was gonna go to school. I was gonna go to like Alfred State. They accepted me, but I was only gonna. I didn't even really want to go. Like, I picked like some BS, like major or whatever I wanted to study there. But I was really just going there because they had a D3 wrestling program. And I was like, I wanted to go there, do wrestling to help me out for MMA. But then I thought that's dumb because, I'd be in debt, and I could just pursue my MMA career without having to do the wrestling. So right from high school, actually in the middle of my senior year, I walked into an MMA gym, and it turned out to be my old modified wrestling coach who owned the gym. So I had that connection there. I was like, bam, this is awesome. And then I started training from there to about 22 years old. And then I went to a different gym at Empire Academy in Rochester, New York, and I've been training there ever since.
And for now, do you have like sparring partners, also a young prospects, either amateur or pro, that can be like main, let's say main stars in next few years?
I mean, so I trained with one guy John Piersma. He trains at Synthesis in Rochester. He's 7-2. He's fighting for the Cage Titans title March 30th in Plymouth, Massachusetts. Um, he's a beast. You know, he's a good grappler. He's like my antithesis. He's like the very opposite of me. He's like a very heavy grappler, good wrestling, strong as hell. You know, if he gets you to the ground, you're toast. So when we're, you know, sparring, it's like I'm trying to keep it on the feet and he's trying to take me down, and we work off that. And he, you know, is somebody to look out for. Probably should interview him. He's probably
actually I did last
Oh,
year.
you did? Oh,
Yes,
good.
yes.
So yeah, you know who I'm talking about then. So that's great. So look to see him in the UFC this year. I think he's knocking on the door just like I am. So he's a great training partner to have.
I think that it can be great when you are training together, growing together, and that there is like no this difference of levels, and of course you are like quite similar size too. So probably it's a very good for you and also for him.
Definitely, you know, I mean, we work off of each other. We work with each other as much as we can. We sometimes have conflicting schedules, but when we do work with each other, it's good stuff.
And for now, what is your favorite part of your training?
My favorite part of training is just getting better every day. Just constantly trying to figure out, you know, I'm kind of a like manic about this. I constantly am just thinking about how can I get better? And sometimes that can be consuming because if you're thinking about getting better, are you doing what you need to do to get better? You know what I mean? So sometimes it's just showing up to the gym, but then showing up to the gym with a purpose of what am I going to get better at? Not just going through the motions. When I'm in the gym, I constantly treat it like it's fight day. I treat it like it's fight day, and I'm 100% focused, and I'm trying to get better. Whether it's my grappling, my striking, my strength and conditioning, my jujitsu, just my overall MMA, get my mindset, just constantly nurturing that and getting better. So I forgot initially what your question was, but I hope that answered it.
And are you a fast learner as far as the like techniques, BJJ or striking techniques?
Excuse me?
Are you a fast learner? So are
Oh,
you?
yeah, I am a fast learner. I mean, especially, you know, as you get older, it starts to, you know, go down. The learning curve starts to change a little bit, but I am a fast learner because I'm 100% locked in. You know, I mean, your future is determined by your focus. So I'm just when I'm there, and nothing outside of the gym is in my mind. I'm 100% present when I'm there, and I'm trying to learn as much as I can and do it the best I can. So I learn very fast when it comes to striking because that's what I feel like. You know, we're all naturally good at something, and I feel like striking is where I'm naturally good at. Wrestling and jujitsu might take a little bit longer, but not too much. But like I said before, to reiterate, striking is where I really learn fast.
And when you are in the training camp, do you have these days that, let's say, is evening and then you are super exhausted and thinking about next day you don't want to go to the gym, but you still going there, or you are like always super focused and there is no question that you will be there next day?
Definitely, there's no question that I'm going to be there next day, whether I'm tired or not. It's part of the bad days or days where you're not as focused as other days is all part of the process. It's like you're not going to be batting 1,000, you know, and when it comes to training. So it's just being every day and working with 100% of what you have. You know what I mean? Whether it's like, you know, I have a whoop strap and it tells me sometimes that, you know, I'm in the, I can't see it, you know what a whoop strap is, heart rate
Yes,
monitor.
yes.
Sometimes it tells me I'm in the red or I'm in the yellow and like it says take a day off or whatever. It's just like, you know, I'm still gonna go. And regardless of how I feel, I'm just gonna give it my all with what I have. So, yeah.
And And thinking about UFC, because there is a chance that it will be quite soon that you will make your debut there. Do you have a fighter in mind that you would like to face as the first opponent?
No, I think that's I don't. I'll take whatever they give me. I think that's thinking too far ahead. Like I said, I'm a guy that tries to focus on process, which is day by day, step by step. And whatever happens, happens, and I'm going to take it no matter what. And um, when I do get the name, then again, focusing on process. I know I keep saying that. I will, be analytical and see his weaknesses and see where I can plug in my strengths and we'll go from there.
So when you have a like opponent, a dated opponent, do you like searching for his fights on the like YouTube or UFC Fight Pass? Do you like to do it?
Yeah, I think film study is huge. I like to see some of these tendencies and whether they favor standing up or going to the ground. Um, but then again, it's a fight. You know, you can't control what the other person's doing. So I get an idea of what they might do by watching them fight. But I don't think that's like I'm not like, oh, that's exactly what he's gonna do. No, it's like it's like I have an idea, and then all the other stuff, I just let my instincts take over from having proper training, and so that's what I do.
It's like close to a chess game because you have an idea what your opponent will do, and because your opponent probably also will watch your fights, he probably have an idea what you gonna do. So it's like it can happen, but it also there are question marks about it.
Definitely. I always like to try to keep my opponents on their toes though by throwing some kind of curveball at them. I love having this time in between fights to get better. Like I said before, like every day I'm just trying to focus on how do I get better. So from my last fight to my next fight, I want to be able to show some different things that I was doing so I don't not as predictable. I can, there was a time where I wasn't shooting any takedowns at all and everybody was like, "Oh, he's just a striker jiu-jitsu guy." And now I started taking people down and they're like, "Whoa, what's this about?" I thought this guy was a striker. Now he's wrestling everybody. And then there's times where they think I'm going to wrestle, and then I strike with them. So, and then there's times, I'm just constantly trying to get better and then stay unpredictable.
And what is your favorite grappling technique? Because as I saw on your record, you have a free arm bars. I think that even in the raw as the amateur. So is it your favorite one?
I mean, I'm, I don't know. I don't really have a favorite grappling technique in particular. Um, I don't really. I mean, I love them all. How about that? I don't have one specific. I love them all. I can do any of them, any submission.
So you don't discriminate anything.
No, I don't. Yeah.
And who is your favorite fighter to watch when there is a like UFC show and what is the name that when you like hear the name you know that you will watch a fight?
It's a hard one to answer. Again, it's like I don't really have too many favorites of anything, but I mean, you could ask me the same thing about music, movies, you know what I mean? Like I like everything, but I guess if I had to really pick one, it'd be Alex Fajeda. I really like watching that guy throw down, because, at any moment it could be over. And he's an excellent striker, and it's just like he seems to be he's world class, world champion kickboxer, but he's a little different from the norm when I think of high level kickboxing. Like when I think of high level kickboxing, I think of like Dutch Muay Thai guys with a high guard. I mean, the traditional thing you see in glory kickboxing. He's a little different. Same thing with Adesanya. Their hands are a little lower, but there's a method to their madness. It's just not like they're doing that, randomly. They have a purpose for those things. So I think I like watching him and I like analyzing what he's doing because I think there's like, seems to be like, a, like another layer of thinking behind what he's doing, if that makes sense. So I don't know. I like Alex Pereira.
And actually, his story is quite crazy because he became a double champion in I think 2 years. He defeated Strickland, Adesanya, Błachowicz, Prochaska, so all the best names in two weight classes. So for 2 years, it's like something that never happened before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean he is a an outlier in that respect. You know, to be able to have, I think he has had 7 fights in the UFC, and then he's become a double champ. I mean, he got KO'd by Adesanya, and then not even a year later becomes champion at light heavyweight. To be able to overcome that mentally, it just didn't seem like it even phased him. You know, I mean, people get knocked down, and then it kind of like changes their life. I mean, this guy kind of it's just like whatever. It's again, he's like focusing on process. That's a part of the process. If you're in the sport long enough, it's going to happen. Doesn't matter who you are, you're going to get knocked unconscious. And he's just kind of like accepts that, and it's just like it is what it is, and then goes and wins a freaking title. So he's a beast.
Yes, he's even still making a history.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's awesome to watch him.
And do you have a like style in mind that you think that could be a challenge for you? That there is a fighter with some kind of style that you are thinking that it may be tough, but also that you have tools to beat this kind of style?
I don't think there's a style out there that I have challenges with. I think I can pretty much handle anything that gets thrown my way because when it comes to my training, I leave no stone unturned. You know, I'm training everything. But then again, you could say that, you could hear that and say, oh, well, he's just okay at everything then. No, no, no. I'm excellent at everything. I put my heart and soul into everything and in all areas, whether it's my jiu-jitsu, my wrestling, my striking, my recovery, my mind, everything. I'm all in. So whatever life or a fighter throws at me, I can handle it.
And thinking about your career, your future, how big do you think your potential in MMA is? That you can be a like UFC champion, being in the rankings, challenging for the championship belt?
Yeah, I mean, I can see myself challenging for the championship belt. You know, I mean, like I said, your future is determined by your focus. You know what I mean? And like having a big imagination is, you know, I think is huge in the sport of fighting. You know what I mean? Because you're only limiting yourself by thinking small. You know, think big. You know, think big and overshoot. You know what I mean? And even if you don't hit that target, you'll at least come pretty close. So if I'm shooting for championship belt, even if I don't hit it, I end up in the top 5. You know what I mean? I make a name for myself. So you know that's the whole saying: shoot for the stars, right? So I can see myself wearing that belt.
And I think that you said a very like smart thing that you have to try, you have to risk to even take it all, because if it will not happen, it's like okay, but you know that you try, and of course that your like last performances like showed that you have this kind of like skills that you can be a like a world class fighter, but in the UFC.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I feel like I not that I can, I will. I will be in the UFC and I will be uh, showcasing my world class skills in front of millions. And it's just an opportunity to show out. You know, what I mean, all the hard work that I put in, and it's just it it was a slow it was slow to get here, but it was worth it because I made sure that I covered all the bases. And so now I'm ready.
And when there is a like fight day, there is a few hours to your fight. Do you like feel additional nerves, some stress because you will be fighting for your future?
No, because I know that you know all the work has been done. You know, I've done everything I possibly can to get to this moment, and then on top of it, like I said before, when I'm going into practice, I treat it like it's fight day. So I might not be at the actual fight when I go to the gym, but I have that mentality, and that's how I get those mental reps of being comfortable. Of when I'm at the arena or in the locker room backstage, I've already been here 1,000 times, actually every day in my own mind in practice. So when I'm there, it's just kind of like I've been here before. You know what I mean? You've done the work and just let all that subconscious take over, and the the results speak for itself. So.
And outside of fighting, when let's say you are even right now after your fight, and maybe you have you want to rest a little bit, do you have any like hobbies or passions, the things that you would like to like thinking about or doing?
Oh man, I mean, I wish I could be a little more interesting and say that I do, but I don't. I mean, most of my day is consumed by, you know, fighting is my passion, and just the pursuit of excellence is uh, a passion of mine as well. That's what gets me going. You know what I mean? I'm sitting here right now, and I almost kind of like felt a little empty the last couple of days because I am not getting ready for anything. But I mean, that's part of the journey as well, and being able to figure out, what's next and how can I get better is what gets me going. It gets me excited, and uh, that's just what I've been trying to figure out the last couple of days, and what are the next best possible steps for the future.
And in the future, would you like to be a coach, like coaching like high level fighters?
Yeah, I mean, eventually, I mean, uh, you know, there's a possibility that I would like to own a gym in the future. I'm a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, and I'm a brown belt in our Muay Thai system that we have over at our gym. Uh, so, I mean, I will be, my gym's first double black belt, and then we're also doing judo, and I hopefully get my black belt in judo, be a triple black belt, and then be able to, share my knowledge that I've learned through fighting and learned through martial arts, and not just techniques but mindset, and be able to instill it into fighters. And I just think that's like my duty after I'm done fighting, is to be able to share this, and uh, you know, not just have it all to myself, but to be able to, you know, spread it around the gym and help everybody else reach their goals and their dreams. So yeah.
Owning a gym, I think that it would be like great thing because you have a lot of knowledge, and also for many years you will gain more experience and more knowledge. So it's like you said, it would be great that you can share this with like younger people who also can be either mixed martial artists or even people who just want to train.
Definitely. Not everybody has to be a fighter. They just can do it for a hobby, and that's cool too.
And I have a last one question. It's outside of MMA. If you can learn one skill, but outside of anything connected with combat sports, what kind of skill would you like to learn?
Probably speak a different language. I'd probably like to learn some Russian or some Brazilian or Portuguese. Sorry, not Brazilian. Portuguese or Russian. I have babble. I just haven't. I did a little bit. But hammering on that and to be able to learn some kind of different language to be able to communicate with different fighters like Russians or Brazilians would be great, because they have some untapped knowledge that I can't reach by speaking just English to them. So uh, that's probably what it would be.
And fighters from both these countries are also usually like ranked fighters or even a champion. So both these languages would be like great to know.
Definitely.
Okay, so many thanks for the conversation. I hope that we can see you in the UFC soon, and that you will get another great finishes like the last one.
Yeah, I appreciate it. You will see me in the UFC soon.